Hello everybody, my name is Alicia and today I'm going to be helping you understand two economic concepts. The first is scarcity and the second is opportunity cost. In the world of economics, things can get pretty tricky. There's a lot of different definitions, there's a lot of different equations, there's a lot of different competing factors and things going on that make some of these concepts a little confusing. However, if you get an understanding of what scarcity means and what opportunity cost means and how you can use those to understand economics, you should be able, moving forward, to kind of understand what economics is all about. Because scarcity and opportunity cost are incorporated into every single facet of economics. Every decision made by a country and down to a person has to do with scarcity and opportunity cost. So for today's objective, we will work through a scenario to understand how scarcity and opportunity cost are associated with one another, as well as see the real life impact both have on everyday life. So just before we begin, I would like to remind everybody what scarcity and opportunity cost are. So based off of our definition, scarcity is the limited resources humans have that put a limit on humans' unlimited wants. So let's say, for example, you want to get some AirPods and you only have like maybe $100 and the AirPods are $150. So that limited resource is your money. And you having a limited amount of that resource is putting a limit on your want for AirPods. And when we say unlimited wants, that means humans are always going to be wanting something. Every human is. And we can even apply humans to countries. We can apply humans to a group of people. And then we can even apply wants to needs, because resources that are necessary for human life could be considered unlimited wants, but because there's limited of whatever that resource is, it's also scarce. Opportunity cost is the loss of something in exchange for the benefit of something else. So because we have scarcity, and going back to the AirPods situation, we have to make a decision. We're going to have to, for example, forego our new AirPods because we don't have that resource. But maybe we can go get a job and go work a little more hours and we'll benefit by making some money and everything else, even though we are foregoing the other alternative. So opportunity cost, to sum it up, is basically what you're losing out on or what you're missing out on in exchange for benefiting in another way. Usually there's only two alternatives with opportunity cost. There can be multiple, but for right now, we're just going to focus on two different scenarios or two different alternatives that you'll have with opportunity cost. So what we're going to do now is we're going to apply opportunity cost and scarcity to a scenario, and we're going to work through the scenario together. So imagine it is Friday morning and you just learned that your favorite artist will be performing an exclusive concert at 7 p.m. at Red Rocks Amphitheater. The tickets are $95 each and only 120 tickets are available. Tickets are selling out fast, so you check your bank account. You have $150 total, just enough to go to the concert. But wait, you remember that you agreed to babysit your neighbor's twin children tonight while they go out. They would pay you $80 for the night, which would really help you pay for that brand new iPhone coming out in 2 months that you really want and just started saving for. You have enough time to prepare for either scenario in the next 30 minutes. So you only have 30 minutes to pick what you want to do. So what are you going to do? Well, right now I'm going to give you a moment to decide. At this point, are you going to the concert or are you going to babysit your neighbors? So as you can see, we have the going to the concert arrow pointing to the left side of the room, and then babysitting your neighbors pointing to the right side of the room. So take a minute, think about it, and then go sit on the whichever side of the room on that decision, for whatever decision that you've decided to make. Don't worry, these decisions are not final. You will have time to make new ones, but for right now, make your first instinct impulse decision right now. All right, now that you're on each side of the room, or you have picked your side, I want you to work with your group. I want you to work with the people sitting next to you who have chosen either to go to the concert or to babysit. And I need you to take 10 minutes to explain what is scarce in this scenario. And then I would like you to create a pros and cons list based off your group's decision. So if you picked the concert, for example, we have a limit on time, we have a limit on money. Even though you have enough money, you still want to have a little more money so you can get that iPhone, but I'll let that be your decision. So those are some examples maybe of something that would be scarce in that scenario. And then for the pros and cons list, I just want you to say what would be really good for you about going to the concert, for example, and what could be a potential con of going to the concert instead of babysitting. And then we'll pretend like 10 minutes went by. All right, so based off of what you all talked about, I'm going to give you another opportunity to switch sides. So at this point, are you going to stick with your guts and stick with your team that you're going to go to the concert? Or are you going to maybe change your mind and decide that you want to babysit for the neighbors? Again, your decision is not final, but if maybe while you were making that cons list, something came up and you're like, oh, maybe I should babysit, feel free to take this time to move over to the other side of the room. All right, it looks like everybody stayed in their spot. So now I'm going to give you another 10 minutes to do something. I would like for you all to talk this out. And we're going to do this in a kind of a debate style. There's not going to be a winner to this debate, but mostly what I want you to do is convince yourself and your peers to either go to the concert or babysit. This way, you can kind of maybe hear some arguments from both sides, and like maybe your peer will say something that's like, oh wow, I didn't even think of that. Maybe I'm going to go babysit instead. So it's going to be a debate because we're going to be kind of arguing with each other, but ultimately there's not going to be a winner. For this 10-minute debate, we're going to have a few guidelines. So please make sure we are speaking one at a time. You can change your mind during the debate, but if you are going to change sides, just make sure you wait until your peers are finished speaking to switch. You are not allowed to be in the middle. You have to pick a side. Be respectful and kind, so attack the ideas, not the person, because I know sometimes debates can get a little intense. And then you have 15 minutes to debate, which I decided to cut that down to 10 minutes to debate so I can give you a little more time for the next activity. Once the timer goes off, the debate will stop. Remember, there are no right answers. Either way, you will be missing out on something and benefiting on something depending on the choice you make. All right, so go ahead and debate. I'll keep this up here so you can just go ahead and go to one side of the room or the other side of the room and just remember which side you're on. All right, so now that the debate is over, you have 10 minutes. So remember, you only had 30 minutes to decide. So you had a 10-minute chunk to make your pros and cons list and to define what was scarce. You had 10 minutes to debate. And now you have 10 minutes to sit and actually make your decision. So in the next 10 minutes before our class gets out, I need you to, on a piece of paper, to tell me what your final decision is, why you chose this decision over the other, what did you miss out on because of your choice, what made this activity difficult, and how does scarcity and opportunity cost go hand in hand. And then, if you have time at the end, if not, and if you don't understand quite yet, we're going to talk about this later, but tell me how this applies to the economics world. Based on your decision, based on their decision, I would hope students would answer scarcity would make this difficult for them. And then when I talk about like, oh, how did you miss out on anything? That would be that opportunity cost getting covered and applied to real life. But once they finish answering this, we're going to reflect again. So now we're going to sit and talk together, and we're going to go through. If you decided to change your mind, go sit where you need to go, but we're going to now reflect. Why did you choose your decision? What made this decision hard? And I just want you to choose a few questions to answer, and I'll have at least 3 to 4 people on each side explain. And then once you're done, you're going to turn it into me. And yeah, I really hope this helped you understand opportunity cost.